Greetings, casual citizens. Welcome back. I'm Paul, joined as always by my illustrious co-host, Jason.
Howdy.
And we are here reviewing Star Trek Picard, Season 2, Episode 2. I don't even remember what the fuck the name of this episode's called. I'll figure it out.
Language, Paul.
Who cares? Jason, what did you think? Impressions.
If Star Trek were sex, this episode is that.
It's sex?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's
how is it sex?
Oh, it's just every minute of it. Like, so you got to think about what's happening. Take, for example, that scene where they're investigating in her apartment.
Sure.
Right? And the point of that scene, right, is to get the information to Picard, right, that something's off planet, right? It's going to lead him to the Borg cube.
Sure.
Right?
It's the start of the MacGuffin.
Right. But what's really happening here is they got a hold of her phone records.
Yeah.
Right? But it's all this weird sciencey blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No, it's all nonsense, right? And they have to fill it, right?
Sure.
But it's excellent. It's so excellent. Every minute of it, you're like, ooh, how are they going to do it? It's like she's like moving around on the thing, and she's so competent, and he's so competent.
Yeah.
And so let's figure this out. And that felt Star Trek-y.
Yeah. So I'll be honest. It was that scene in particular.
That's what I liked.
That scene in particular, I was actually going like, this is a lot of jargon talk.
Yeah.
Like, this is even more than most Star Trek. It lost me. Like,
it completely held my attention.
Oh, no, I mean, I got it. And like, but it was like, when she starts talking about all these things, and she gets into heuristics, and it's like, I know what heuristics are, and I really don't want to be listening to this right now.
Yeah.
So
I liked it.
No, it was interesting, but it was like, it was a moment of, it felt like the rest of the series is not the same kind of Star Trek that we're used to, right? It's not like TNG or Voyager or anything like that. It's not like an adventure of the week.
Now,
and I'm not saying this derogatorily.
Well, it's funny. I heard a really bad a criticism. It was on The Critical Drinker, who I watch and who I don't know. He's really weird about. I'm just gonna say it. He focuses on the not exactly Me Too stuff, but he calls Ray strong female character. He calls Daj strong fememale character. That's just how he refers to them.
Sure.
I don't agree. I don't know what his hang up on it is.
I'm surprised he's not calling him Mary Sue.
I don't. He
he does. What a shocker.
He'll sarcastically do it. Like she's definitely not American. But I don't know what his hang up is. I'm not going to comment on it. Yeah. But he did bring up a good point. I thought, which I don't know if it makes me dislike it or not, but he was saying this isn't like other Star Treks in that it's the Federation is in normal Star Trek. It's the Federation is this beacon of liberty and blah 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 and exploration.
Sure. And
Picard's just a part of that.
Sure.
But now it's like the opposite. Right now, Picard is the only one with the wisdom, and everybody else is wrong.
Yes.
Right. And I thought about it in two ways. One, that's true. It seems.
Sure.
Right. I don't know that makes it bad.
No.
But also, I would say it's a timeliness thing, right? You got the Logan thing, right? I'm sure we'll name some more, but if they'll make a Spider-Man Rain movie, in case you're wondering, it's just Logan but Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Turns out his semen is radioactive, and Mary Jane got cancer, and she died. Anywho.
Jesus Christ.
I know, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot to take in.
I know.
When I'm sitting here trying to talk about
realized
Picard.
that I could pack that information really tight and hurt you.
Yes. That was definitely a thing that I'm going to have to contemplate later.
So, I was thinking about it because I've heard so much negativity about this and I didn't understand it. Sure. And I was like, okay, I can see that one. If you're going to say, it's not like what I like, it's not like Star Trek, and here's why. That's the best you got, I think.
Well, okay.
But anywho, I like this. I'm loving this.
However,
it's fine.
So that's the point. But however, counterpoint.
Sure.
That's not exactly new for Star Trek either. This was the whole idea of Deep Space Nine versus Voyager being on at the same time. Because Deep Space Nine got into religion, God, philosophy, right? Well, and also the dark parts of the Federation. Cisco
now
doing a deal with the Romulans.
He brings up your point. He says, and people are going to say Star Trek has always tackled social issues, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And his answer to that, as best I can tell, is nothing. He said something, and it sounded like, I think he just cut to joke, which he's not.
Yeah, because there's no strong rebuttal to that.
You know what, though? He is doing something entertaining.
But that's not particularly what I'm talking about.
It is entertainment. I don't think he claims to be a prophet. I think he's kind of trying to be funny, and also he hits both sides. Maybe that's what he's trying to do, hit wide. But, He didn't answer it, so I mean, I hear you say it,
right.
And I gotta be honest, when you say it, it irritates the shit out of me.
No, but that's not the point that I'm making.
True, right?
No, but that's not the point that I'm making. I'm not making a point about the fact that Star Trek is making social commentary or whatever. I'm saying the idea of because yes, it's always made social commentary within the framework of the Federation being better,
right,
and learning, right. But
for me,
what I'm saying is DS9 was the only series to really step back and take a look at that differently.
Just because of Section 31?
No, Section 31 was part of it, but you also get in the Pale Moonlight with Cisco and doing bad stuff to try to get the Romulans into the war.
That's just Cisco.
Sure.
It's not the Federation being bad. Right?
Well,
he deleted it.
Okay, fair. But as within that show, within the framework of that show,
right?
But also, you introduced the Maquis, who were Federation separatists, who were people who weren't happy with the way Federation made a deal with the Cardassians
to abandon those people,
on Bajor, right? So DS9 handled those politics a little bit more, and it just so happened it was on at the same time as Voyager, and they did that intentionally, and they said the whole point is Voyager is our explorer of the month, and DS9 is our grounded politics show.
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing here because Discovery is going to be the adventure of the month, especially now in year 3000, whatever, right? So I just don't like, yes, it's not Star Trek, it's not Starfleet in Federation that we've known, but I think that that's good. But also, to your point, a reflection of the times, it's not just Logan. I think it's honestly a reflection of where we are in America right now, and
well, they're westerns, right? They're all just westerns. They're like an old man.
Sure. No.
One last.
No. But what I'm saying is, I think this is the type of show that is absolutely made in our current geopolitical climate,
right?
Which is the turn of Western liberal democracies to be more authoritarian.
I suppose.
And to be more insular and closed off and not worked. It's a reflection of Brexit. It's a reflection of...
I suppose. You tell me the man's bad in this one. Okay, I hear you. But like, I'm talking about...
It's not the man's bad. It's an exploration of what causes these liberal... And I don't mean liberal in the sense of like left-right liberal. I mean liberal in the sense of like civil rights. Mm-hmm. What causes these civilizations to turn away from liberal democracy, to become insular, and to turn their back on what are supposed to be their values.
I don't quite see it that hard in this. I mean, I get it. These guys are bad, and things.
We're 2 episodes in.
I know, but I was talking specifically about, Picard being old and going out one more time to do a thing, doing a Luke Skywalker or a Logan, right? Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I wasn't really. I hear you, maybe.
Right, but you could have done that with an absolutely not dark Starfleet.
No, that's true.
Framework.
I know that's true. I was just pointing out that there's lots of those timeliness-wise right
now. I mean,
now.
I'm referring, what to me, what separates this show is like you have an admiral telling Picard to fuck off.
Which I loved. I thought it was crazy. I
thought it was crazy.
But no, I'm not. I don't disagree with you. I just want that to be clear. I'm talking about when I was saying that it's timely. I'm saying that there's lots of old people, like people reprising roles to do one last thing.
Sure.
Like it's just a thing now, right? And that's fine.
Yes.
But that's going to be in the art.
Yes.
It's in that, but people are going to go, well, how come they didn't do Picard back then?
So that's
been, right. And we have it now.
So that's separate of the time. I think,
that's what I was talking about.
Yes. I think of the time that I was talking about is more the art and the story.
Sure.
And you're talking about the meta of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is reboots and bringing back, the old people to do their own thing.
There's good reboots and there's bad reboots. And this isn't quite a reboot, right? This is just a...
No, it's a continuation.
I like these.
I didn't mean to say reboot. I meant sequel.
Yeah, but there are tons of reboots. And there are tons of reboots. But these are better, where it's like just what happens when they get really old.
Yes.
I'm fine with that. That's like a weird thing we did this era, and I like that.
Logan. Yeah. Fantastic. The best superhero movie. Indisputably.
I have to think about it.
I mean,
I have to think about it.
I went back and watched it again recently.
It's so good.
It is indisputably the best superhero movie. Well, it's not even. I mean, and like, I'm not a big MCU person, but Endgame and Infinity War are amazing. But
not as good
Logan's a different
not as good
level.
As Logan. I just don't know.
Logan is a different level
than the ones you named for sure.
And I even went back and watched The Dark Knight recently, which I thought was up there, and I'm like, it's good. But its pacing is not as good as Logan.
I don't know about that, man.
It's,
I don't know if
you
I'm
watch
on,
it again.
I
there are places where it drags, and it's got that Christopher Nolan. And I love Christopher Nolan, one of my favorite directors and writers of all time.
Yeah.
Everything from Memento, even Insomnia. Did you ever see Insomnia?
No, but people keep going to try to make me.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
Yeah, I hear
it's so fucking good. But anyway, it was actually a remake of a Swedish movie, interestingly enough. So it's not necessarily a Christopher Nolan story. But anyway, the point is, Christopher Nolan, I love him, but he has a tendency to go off on like these very jargonistic diatribes, right? Like his characters go on these monologues just saying nonsense. And you get that in The Dark Knight, where sometimes he's just like, in case you didn't get the point, I'm going to spell it out for you, the point that I'm trying to make right now. And Logan is very understated and very, it's just more artistic.
But that doesn't make it more artistic. It makes it,
I think so.
It makes it different. Just say, I mean, okay, so if I drew a painting and it was actually just a cup, like you just tell was a cup, and then you drew a painting, it was like impressionistic in a cup, I wouldn't say the impressionistic one is real art and this one isn't. That's all I'm saying. They just did it by rote. They did it a bit more by the book with the storytelling. The villain reveals his plot at the end. I'm not saying one's better or worse because of that. It's just that's just a way to do it.
Sure, but
sometimes that's fun.
A story is not a capture of a cup.
Sometimes
a story is trying to invoke an emotion. A cup doesn't invoke an emotion.
I know, but that's a thing that you do in stories sometimes, and I don't always like it. And yes, I'll say this: it's boring, right? It's like, okay, that's a thing. Yeah, you did the thing.
It's not just, but that's okay. It's not just that it's not that it's boring, because The Dark Knight is not boring.
Cliche.
It's still very good.
Cliche. I meant cliche.
No, it's just it's ham-fisted. It's one of those, and what's frustrating actually, and this is not a review of The Dark Knight, but what's frustrating actually watching it now is how what I love about Nolan is how he's not ham-fisted. Yeah, he tends to have people go on dialogues and monologues, stuff like that. But what's frustrating about The Dark Knight is the way he explicitly says, "Here's what I'm supposed to want to say with this." Whereas you get like Inception, where it's just like, you end on a cliffhanger. What actually happened?
It's a Batman,
and that's what most of his movies have been.
Sure, but this is Batman. We got it.
I know, right? But like that's what. Whereas Logan is just very much like, it's, I don't know. It's just very understated, very symbolic, very metaphorical.
We should do a whole episode where we have this debate, because I don't know. I don't know if I agree with you.
But anyway, the point is, Logan,
for example,
Logan.
If you had never seen a movie where someone did a talk over, right, where like the narrator was talking over, and then it did. Yeah. After 100 years, you go, well, wait, is that in his head? Where's that voice coming from in this movie? In the same way, I mean, it's just a technique. Have the villain reveal his plot. Anyway, that's where I'm coming from. Go ahead.
This is not a Dark Knight Logan review. However, but what I was going to say was Logan, in my opinion, best superhero movie of all time, of our time, definitely, but all time, and also has Patrick Stewart.
True. I thought of that. I thought of that. And I think he wanted one. I think that's how this happened. I know he has also stories about it, but I think he wanted a Logan.
He wanted to be the Logan.
He wanted a Logan, which fair enough.
In his own story, yeah.
Fair enough, though. He deserves it. So, okay.
So in that case, who is Patrick Stewart in Picard? I don't know that he has something like that.
It's dead Data, I guess.
Oh, fair play. Fair play. It will be Data.
Yeah.
Fair play.
You see him as much, right?
Yeah. So, all right. So anyway, no, you see Patrick Stewart in the first half of Logan. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, I thought this episode was good. There were parts of it that I was like, but I'm not sure how to feel about this Jacques Vache thing.
What about it? Oh, it's dope. It's like this secret. They just hate AI. That's cool. I'm fine with it. You know what I love? I love the Romulan shit they added in this. I love it so much. Oh my God, I love it so much. And all the secrecy stuff.
I love the Romulans. The Romulans are the best part of the show right now.
The secrecy stuff where they're, and it's funny, even in the way.
And the subterfuge.
The management is like talking to them. Yeah. Is like, if it's not personally known to be okay, it's malign. Yeah. Right? It's just that like they have a different culture. And they talk different. They say, hey, don't trust it under any circumstances unless you've been told you have to trust it. Right? Like, it's like, this is not how humans think. We're just, we don't build structures that way.
The way they're so condescending and derisive to each other, it just feels Romulan. You're like, this is how I imagine it was like.
But it's a plausible. How do these people communicate in such a way that develops into this weird secretive culture?
Yes.
That also kind of works.
Yes.
Because it is true. If you do tell your workers, just don't trust anything you don't understand. Yeah. That is probably a safe way to start out the day. Mm-hmm. But it would be weird if your boss said, hey, just don't trust anything you see if I didn't tell you to trust it. Hear me? Right? That would probably be effective.
Sure.
But weird.
Yeah. Right? I got to say, it's kind of weird to me how. Well, I don't know. I guess I was assuming something, but I was going to say it's kind of weird that a society that places so much emphasis on subterfuge and distrust and all that stuff would have a democracy. But because I assume that the Senate was democratically elected, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case.
Yeah, true.
So I guess I was making an assumption there. Anyway,
but maybe they are. Maybe they are democratic, man. And like this is how you do democracy.
They're just all
when
on
you're
the same
that
page.
When you're that weird, right? When you have that mindset of don't trust shit. This is what democracy looks like. We still like democracy.
Sure.
We're not crazy.
It's one of those things that it's like if you had a democracy, wouldn't you have other ideas? Wouldn't you? And I was like, not necessarily. It's like there's a lot of people that don't like capitalism, and yet we have democracy and we still have capitalism.
So
you
if you're listening to this and you know the answer to like democracy and Romulus, blah blah blah, then leave a comment and then like and subscribe. Even if you don't comment, even if you don't like it, you can unlike and then also subscribe. Whatevs.
Anyway, but overall, I did like this. It's still, I gotta say, it felt like it feels like it's taking a long time to get to space.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like. I kind of would have expected us to make it to space at the end of this episode.
I did think so too.
I got to imagine we're making it to the ship next episode.
It's fine, whatever.
So it just feels like
we got a space fight. We got the siege of Mars. Come on, I'm fine with this. I'm
fine with it. It feels. I don't mean that from a standpoint of we're taking a long time. It's not that I care about getting to space. I feel like that's where the story is going to be, and it feels like it's quite a bit of lead up for only 10 episodes, and we've only got 8 episodes left, and we still haven't gotten to. We're going on the mission.
Quite.
You know what I'm saying?
I did notice it. Yes, yes, certainly.
I'm not that it's a bad thing. It's interesting thing to note.
But people are gonna hate on it really bad. Oh, people are
gonna hate on it.
We have more people to shit on. But first, if they're gonna complain about that, which I did notice, it's just like, well, but you got a Mars space fight. That's all I'm saying. It's like shut up. You did get space. You got some cool sci-fi space stuff. Shut up.
Sure.
It's fine.
Trek Yards will be dissecting those ships again. They already did.
Are they bad? They don't like it?
Well, they complained about how they look a lot like Discovery ships. Yeah, and I'm like, fair.
We gotta focus on Red Letter Media, man. What was that?
Well,
about?
Anyway, I was gonna say they focus on why these ships were doing all these things. It's like, oh, it turns out these were like the armadas that were being built at Mars at the time, so that's why they all look the same way.
Oh, okay.
That's why they all had. That's why they were all carrying those things because they were meant to be people transport.
Sure.
So anyway, go ahead.
Sure. Well armed. So
you're going to Romulan space.
That's fair. That's how you do democracy.
Yes.
That's how you do refugees with guns.
Yes. Indeed.
In Romulus.
It is the Navy that typically does it.
We watched, I guess, at least 15 minutes of maybe more of that Red Letter Media review of this.
Yeah, something like that. I didn't watch the whole thing.
I'm sorry. I don't remember. I didn't write it down.
It was rough.
They just didn't know what. They just don't know what Star Trek is. They don't know what it's about. Didn't they say that Data? That's right. They said that Data and Picard don't have a special relationship.
Yeah, I was like, "Are you kidding
me?"
And
like he just gave him orders and gave him pep talks sometimes. Like,
they showed clips of him just like giving him orders, and I was like, "Those were all from like seasons 1 and 2," which is like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
it's certainly if you didn't think they had a close relationship by the end of the series, maybe. I mean, you would. Because not every episode, it was an Adventure of the Week kind of show, right? So not every episode focused on it. And Picard did tend to distance himself.
Yeah.
Remember, because everybody else would play poker together.
I was just thinking.
And Picard
thinking that.
But then the whole point was Picard goes and has poker with him in the final episode.
Right, but
certainly by the time you get to the movies.
But hold on, no, I don't even want to give them the movie. I don't want to give them that kind of ground because if you really think about it, like even in this show, I'm pointing, and no one can see. Yeah. Even in this show. They mentioned Braddox, which is from an episode where Picard is Maddox. Sorry, what did I say?
You said Braddox.
Oh,
it makes his first and last name. Brett Maddox.
No, so Maddox. Even in the episode where he's in Next Generation.
Oh yeah,
Picard is defending
his
Data,
civil rights.
Yeah, Data's civil rights.
Yeah,
quite.
And his human rights.
Yeah, and there's, I don't know what they're all about. And there was multiple times where they just say things like, "I don't think you watched."
That's where I stopped watching.
I don't think I make a claim.
Yeah.
Ready for my claim?
What's that?
I don't think they've seen The Next Generation.
Oh, they probably seen it, but they probably saw it 30 years ago.
I think they saw they saw a couple episodes. And
they probably saw the highlights.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
But also keep in mind, it's kind of hard to see all of. Well, I mean, it's easy to see it now because it's all on Netflix. But like, if you don't sit down and watch, literally, what is it? 1,400 hours of television, which is what The Next Generation is, right? Plus, I think it's 26 episodes a season times 7 seasons.
Well, I don't know that I've seen every episode, but I've seen
I've definitely seen every episode, but not recently.
I may have, but I've seen most of them.
But understand, before Netflix and everything, and you had this, most people aren't sitting and watching, like I said, 1,500 hours of content all at once. Then you would have had to have been this thing where you saw it when it happened in the 90s, 80s and 90s. And the thing was, it's important to remember that shows back then, Star Trek in particular, they were only shown in syndication. So it's not like Star Trek The Next Generation came on at CBS at 8 o'clock every night. It was like it showed up on your local CBS affiliate, whatever time of the day on Saturday if they wanted to show it.
And that's how I'd watch it. Now, now here's the thing, though. I have a confession. I'll confess something to you. Would you like a Star Trek confession?
Sure.
I have never seen the Next Generation episode where Tasha dies.
Tasha Yar?
Tasha Yar?
Skin of Evil?
I don't know.
Is that what it's called?
I hear she dies.
It's bad.
I know. I've read about it. I know she dies, and then like her ancestor comes back because of Enterprise C. Blah blah blah.
Oh, well, that's different. That's several seasons later.
I know that. I know that. I'm keen on all of it.
No, but that's all good. Her daughter comes back as a Romulan.
I know all that. As I said, keen on it. I just haven't seen the part where she dies, and I don't care.
But those two things are unrelated.
But they're the same person, right?
They are, but okay. So
I'm just saying that this character is
the Tasha that goes back on the Enterprise C is from a different universe.
I understand that.
It's from a different timeline.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I do.
So the Tasha that dies in season 1, it's bad because she was like a main character. She was a bridge character, and she literally just like dies.
Yes.
And then like we just move on. Like, she never gets mentioned again.
I was only drawing a connection to make sure to talk about who we were talking about.
She was Data's only lay.
That's true. That is true. That did happen. And I saw that episode.
Queen.
And I saw that episode.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm well versed. Even if I haven't seen it, I've probably read about it.
That sounded really misogynist to say that. She's Data's only girlfriend.
Oh,
his one night stand.
That's true.
So
Data was her only lay.
I doubt that. I'm sure she was fine otherwise. I mean, it's a whole thing of why she goes on the Enterprise C, right?
Fair enough.
To get what's his name? He played Shooter McGavin.
Oh, I don't know.
That was the guy that she had a crush on in that episode of Star Trek. It was the guy that played Shooter McGavin in Happy Gilmore.
I vaguely recall that.
Shooter! Anyway. So yeah, I kind of want to touch on the comic again. So they released the third and final comic of the series. There wasn't really a lot that happened, honestly. But I will say what you get out of it is Lars and Shaban, who we see in the show. That's kind of when they joined him. So he went to that planet, found out there were slaves there, and the Romulans weren't interested in having them. They're like, oh, we're just going to let them die. And he's like, no, we're not going to do that. And again, setting up this whole thing of like, this is what the Federation stands for. We're going to take all this life, right? And then Lars and Shaban back him up on that. They turn against the Tasha Yar, and then they're just fleeing for the rest of until eventually they show up on the Vineyard. So that's how Lars and Shaban. So if you're interested in Lars and Shaban, and also you do get introduced to Rafi Musker, who we see at the end of this episode. She's the commander on the Verity when he's there. So anyway, you can go read it. It's fine. The first comic was good. The second two, they were okay. It wasn't as impactful as I thought it would be. I was hoping there would be some grand statement or some big action that happened that really tied into the show.
No, it's a countdown comic. It's not going to be that deep.
Right. Yeah. Well, so speaking of countdown comics, so you mentioned last week about Data being captain.
Yeah.
And you said it was in that Star Trek Countdown. And I was like, I never read that. So I went back and read the Star Trek Countdown comic, and they have retconned the shit out of that thing.
Oh, yeah?
So here's some points from the Star Trek Countdown that have been retconned now. Data obviously being captain of the Enterprise E, because it was before who became Data. That obviously didn't happen anymore. Geordi wasn't in Starfleet, whereas in the new Star Trek Picard Countdown, he's a commander and he's building the Armada at Utopia Planitia.
That's right.
In Star Trek Countdown, so the one before JJ, he was not in Starfleet. He was private doing his own stuff, and he built the Jellyfish, the ship that Spock used to inject the red matter.
This could also be true, right? He could have been recommissioned.
Well, they're happening at the same time, remember? It's literally the exact same event.
Oh, that's right.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So no.
Okay.
So we'll get into that too. Also in the show, or in the Star Trek Countdown comic, Picard was not an admiral. He was the ambassador to Vulcan. Whereas in the Star Trek Picard Countdown, he's an admiral when this happens. Yeah. Also in that comic, Spock, which we don't know Spock what he is in Picard now, but in that comic, and this is one of the reasons I really hated that comic. and I'm glad they retconned the shit out of it because it was stupid and didn't make any sense. Spock apparently defected to Romulus, but he was also the Federation ambassador to Romulus.
Yeah.
I'm like, those are two different things. If he defected to Romulus, he wouldn't be the Federation ambassador.
No, there's still a Vulcan. He defected from Vulcan to Romulus. He's under the jurisdiction of the Romulan Senate now. That's what he claims.
But he is literally the Federation ambassador, and Vulcan is part of the Federation.
That's fine.
So how could he defect?
He defected from Vulcan to Romulus, but he didn't defect from the Federation.
But Vulcan is part of the Federation.
But he still has like a municipal jurisdiction.
That's
right?
like saying I defected from Kentucky to Indiana.
It's like that, yeah. No.
But that's not
no. It's not like that. It's like I defected from Indiana to China.
But China is an adversary.
That's true.
And if I was the official United States ambassador to China, then I wouldn't have defected from the United States to China.
Yeah, you know that I'm a big fan of the American government. I am, but
yes.
I wouldn't claim it's anything like the Federation.
Trust me, the United States ambassador to any country is not going to be a defector from that country.
I understand that that's the case. I wouldn't necessarily say that about the Federation.
Anyway, the whole comic also didn't make sense because like the Vulcans, like at one point they're like distrustful of both the Federation and Spock, and I'm just like, I don't know, that makes any fucking sense. Also important to note here, the star that exploded that went supernova in Star Trek Countdown and theoretically in the JJ verse was not actually the Romulan star.
It's going to destroy the whole universe or something, right?
Yeah, it was the star Hobus, which was it was the star of the galaxy the star system Hobus.
Yeah,
which was like next door to Romulus. And so like it was going to take out parts of it. And but yeah, and then it was this whole stupid thing of like it gained intensity as it consumed planets or something like that, and it was going to take out the entire universe.
Nope.
And I was like, this is dumb.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm so glad we retconned this.
Yeah, I read that briefly that it was going to after we talked that it was I still thought it was Romulus, but okay.
No, it wasn't. It was from the Hobus system. And so this may be where you got confused about how because remember last week you were saying, oh no, it already exploded and took out Romulus and it's just moving to these other places. And I was like, no, that's not what they said. They said that they might be another year before it goes supernova.
Right.
But you might be thinking of the Star Trek Countdown because that's what happened there.
Yeah,
it went supernova and it was moving towards and they didn't believe it ever get to them.
That's where I got it from.
Yes.
Yeah. That must be the confusion.
Anyway, that comic was bad. That story was bad. I'm glad they retconned it. So anyway, just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I'm always right according to some version.
Touche. I mean, to be fair, you consume a lot of different canon.
It's
You're
true.
into comics, so how do you keep these things straight?
Yeah.
So, all right, going back to the episode. Okay, so we saw the synths. They took over Mars, and then the synth that dropped the defense system, whatever, it shot himself in the head. Well, I say he, but
I know.
shot itself in the head. Themselves.
Yeah.
Why do you think he did that? I don't understand.
I think maybe he woke up. That's what was sad. I mean, I think that might be the implication is that the whatever infected
something
him,
reprogrammed them.
Something got in there and was controlling like a puppet, and then left. And he was like, "Oh, I killed all my friends.
Yeah,
I'm gonna or
not friends, or like I fucked up.
More friends." Or they could do either way in Star Trek, right? They could either say he really is just an automaton, and he just was reprogrammed to shoot himself at the end.
Sure.
Or
to destroy evidence.
Or it could be a Doctor situation where, actually, secretly they have they dream of electric sheep.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he woke up and then realized he killed all his friends, and in despair, killed himself.
Which would you prefer?
Oh. The former,
which is
that they were just robots.
Oh yeah, I would too.
Yeah,
I don't like the idea of it. I don't like the idea of it becoming all of a sudden self-conscious after it's done.
Right. So but it also clears up when they say synthetic.
Yeah.
Right. That I don't know. This is what they were talking about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which apparently, why did they have to have the same skin tone and eye color as Data? I don't know. Well, I don't know what the point of that was.
Well, they figured it might be, they didn't know.
Just so you know.
Well, to think about it, man, to be clear, we're engineers, right? And so we would think, well, we can't make Data be like, we can't make a thing like Data. We want to. We can't seem to.
So we make it look like it?
So maybe it's the yellow eyes. We don't know. We don't know what it is. Why would it be yellow eyes? We don't know. We don't know how consciousness works. I don't know. Maybe you need yellow eyes.
Well, to be fair, I don't think they wanted those synthetics to be self-aware.
Right, they were just
using them as workers.
But they were the failed thing. They were still looking for it. They were just like, we'll just try making it more and more like what we do know to be the case.
We tried to make self-aware, and they didn't work. So we're going to recycle them.
No matter what what obstacles in their path,
yep.
If they needed to have sex with Tash Shiar,
yeah,
each and every one of them would have went after it. Right, that's what we're saying.
Fully functional program with multiple techniques.
Yeah, they can all bang. They do everything that we do know Data can do. They can do. That's why.
Sure.
That's my best bet as to why they look like Data.
Hey, you're seeing on screen now this doctor who apparently was a doctor on the
Stargazer. Yeah.
I don't know if we've ever heard of that character before. I don't think so.
Which is fine.
In the comments, correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't think we've ever seen that guy before. But what do you think of
there's
it?
a Stargazer. Cool. I'm pretty sure there is a Stargazer comic. And I think he may be in it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he's in it. I haven't read it.
There is a Stargazer comic.
I'm sure he's in it then.
Possibly.
I think it's new.
Unless they retcon that too.
Yeah, it's a newer one. I think
it's newer. It came out after Star Trek Countdown. I think I have it in my wish list on Comixology. But I don't normally read comics, so this is kind of a new thing for me.
Yeah.
But it's just like I don't like strategy games. But it took what's the name of it?
Star Trek Armada. It's
Star Trek Armada. Yeah.
Sins of a Solar Empire.
Yeah. That's the one I play. It's just like I don't typically like RPGs either, but like I like Mass Effect.
Sure.
It takes that kind of universe for me to get into it.
Yeah, sure.
So
we can play an MMO. We can play
Star Trek Online.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Star Trek Online.
No, Knights of the Old Republic. Come on. It'd be lightsabers.
Let's just wait for the remake
of
Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, I mean the Old Republic, not Knights of the Republic. I am excited. I don't want a remake. Don't say that. They're gonna do a 3.
I mean, there's rumors that there's going to be a remake. Anyway.
That sounds awful. Just do a 3. There's already a good game of it.
Actually, the rumor is that it's less of a remake or a reboot, more of a continuation, and to bring it more in line with current canon.
That makes me happier.
So, but I don't know. Anyway. So anyway, we learned from that doctor, though, Picard has some brain thing. I don't know. They didn't even say what it was. Something on his parietal lobe.
Yes, I don't care about this.
It says it's going to kill him.
Yeah.
I don't know why we had to introduce that.
Because we know he has to go out into the universe and he's going to die anyway. He's just really motivated. It's just motivation, right?
But the thing is, we already know there's going to be at least a season 2.
Right.
So we know he's not dying at the end of the
No, he does, though. He dies. They just keep calling it Picard. And it's going to be really funny. But he definitely dies in this, right? He even says, maybe you'll get lucky and die before the disease kills you. And I think that we know where he dies, and it's that sword fight. Because if you watch the trailer...
God, I did not want to go here.
If you watch that trailer... of the first season, then you'll see that he gets in a sword fight and he takes a step forward and he swings straight down, and the guy, I guess, parries 5. The other guy, if I recall, that Picard's dead. Picard is dead. That's what a dead man looks like in a sword fight. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so we know how he dies. So R.I.P. Picard. There's no action. They have to cut to commercial. I guarantee you when we get there, it'll cut to commercial, or it'll do a camera cut, because there's no action after that. Go ahead.
Did you get it out of your system?
I did. It's been hurting. We know Picard's dead. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, I don't think Picard's gonna die in season 1
in a sword fight.
And so it's like I don't know why we needed that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little about that.
Not even the first time he's stabbed. He stabbed in TNG. I remember.
Picard?
Yeah, in the past when he's reliving his past. I remember he got stabbed by Klingon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See.
Yes.
There's even precedent.
When he had hair.
There's even precedent for Picard dying by stabbing, and it's this.
Anyway, so we know now that Narek, I think that's his name.
Yep.
Anyway, the Romulan on the cube. Oh, by the way, the cube, I think that's Hugh's cube.
It makes sense.
Because they talk about it's the reclamation site, and so at first when we saw this stuff before the season started, before the series started, I thought that the cube was a prison because they were all wearing orange jumpsuits and there were these Romulans walking around with guns. I was like, oh, they're prisoners. But as it turns out, they're actually like scientists and workers and doctors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this is like a reclamation site where they're trying to like rebuild it and do different things with the Borg, use their technology, extract their technology.
Yeah.
And what we find out is Daj is there to try to revive them. And I think what that means is like, extract all the Borg stuff from them and bring them back to what they were before.
That's really
Borg.
nice.
Kind of like Seven.
Yeah.
Right. and I assume that she's successful with Hugh, and that's where we get to it. So what I think is this is the cube that Hugh was on, because Narek talks about how it got disconnected from the collective. They thought it was gone, and that's exactly what happened to Hugh's cube in the Next Generation.
So I was going to say something real quick about Daj, because they're setting her. I'm worried they're setting up her to be the new android, right?
Well, she is.
I know.
Well, it's actually Soji now.
But moving forward, she's going to be an ageless android.
I guess. Well, this is the thing that's weird to me about her being organic.
Yeah. Let's just hold on. We're going to find out.
It's like
if we find out she's ageless and they cast like a 20-what-year-old?
Yeah.
I mean, she's really pretty. I really like her. She's a great actress. Yeah. It's just that I don't think she's going to look the same in 10 years.
Well, neither did Brent Spiner.
Yeah, well, but they started him in weird looking, in makeup and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Right? She just
But that's
is
the
normal.
thing. I don't. This is the thing that I don't understand about the organic androids. It's like, you're right. Is she gonna age? She's gonna get cut, right?
Which is fine.
So she bleeds.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so they're an android, but they don't have, and apparently they have physical strength of androids, but like they don't have the invincibility.
I don't care about that
of androids.
I don't care about this as much, but that's fine.
But then the other thing is like, okay, if they look exactly like humans inside and out, then aren't they just humans?
Maybe, but they're synthetic. I guess that's the thing. I don't know. Whatever. Well, it'll become clear.
I got news for you. In a universe full of transporters, everybody is synthetic.
Oh my God. I want to talk about this. This is going to be gross. And okay, the transporter scene with the walking. I have something to say about it. Okay.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
No. Okay. So we all know what's happening here. These people are dying and then coming back to life instantly.
Sure.
Now, you hear that. We all know it. We think about it. Sometimes we go, ooh, that's kind of weird. We don't see it constantly.
Sure.
And I am pro-choice. Right?
Sure.
I know. I know. So
I'm not sure where this is going.
You might want to bail out, but I'm pro-choice.
Brace yourself, listeners.
I do. But at the same time, I think an abortion is like it's a thing you don't want to have to do. It's kind of
nobody wants it.
Feels kind of icky.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I got to take medicine every day. I don't want to do that either, but I have to do it.
If in a show, I saw someone make this choice, I can't have this baby, and then they do the abortion, and even if they showed it for some social commentary on it, right?
Oh, this isn't where I thought you were going to go.
Hold on.
This is dumb.
No, it's not. Then I'd go, okay, well, I don't feel like celebrating, but I don't feel weird about it, right?
Sure.
But if they showed me a collage of 1,000 abortions in a minute, I would shudder. If you watch not 1,000, like 100 in a minute, I would shudder. I'd go, oh, that's a lot of abortions, right? Right? No. So if all these people are walking through this transporter, it's like, oh God, it's en masse. It's way worse. Like this knowledge that Captain Kirk is dying and respawning is okay if you see it once in a while for a plot device. But if you just see people casually, just 100 in a minute, you're like, oh my God, so much death. What a dark place, right? Anywho, that's how I feel about that weird transporter scene. It made me think that. Go ahead.
This is the kind of fucking shit I deal with all the time. I mean, my God.
You see it, right?
No.
It's horrifying en masse.
No. Anyway, what I was going to say was my whole thing is, Jesus fuck. I am so knocked off course right now.
By that collage idea. It would make you shudder. Something wrong with it. We're pro-choice. But if you gave us a collage of 100 procedures in a row, right? It's a thing you don't really think about much, right?
Getting into a transporter is not the same thing as an abortion.
It's certainly not, but it has to do with life and death, right? In that way that makes you kind of squeamish.
In some way.
In that way that makes you kind of squeamish, right?
No, it's never made me squeamish.
It is okay. Well, I can prove it, right? Because there is a debate about whether transporters kill their occupants.
Yes.
And there's also a debate about whether abortion is killing a baby.
Yes.
And as we've decided, it's not. But there is and was a debate. So that's what I'm noticing. That's why.
I don't know that we've decided that.
What? That there is a debate?
No, I don't
People
know.
disagree with us.
That it's not killing the baby.
Right. I don't know. I don't want to get into that. That's not the point.
The
point is there is a debate about it.
Sure.
And if you saw a collage of it, suddenly, you'd shudder.
But if the baby came back right after the abortion, I'd be like, all right.
I mean, honestly, we're just talking about medical proceders, right? Because, I mean, like, if you
did,
if you did a collage of any medical procedure,
so
honestly.
This is the point that I was actually going to make. I don't understand how in a universe with transporters you have any need for doctors. And I don't understand why when Picard walked through that transporter, he doesn't walk through the other side without whatever fucking thing is in his brain.
Right.
And we don't have to worry about this anymore.
And hair. I completely agree.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. Yes, we know. I don't know if we want to.
But whatever. You suspend disbelief because the transporter was a plot. No, the transporter was literally a plot device concession because they didn't want to have to do a shot where they had a shuttle go down the planet.
Sure, but we can get into this on a slow episode.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So
because it is a deep hole. It goes deep. Back to the substitute doctor episode.
Deep hole.
What's that?
I like it when you say deep hole.
Oh, gross. Anywho, carry on.
Yeah. So anyway, Picard, after he walks out of the death machine, he walks into Starfleet Academy, and one thing I want to point out is he sees floating above. First, he sees the Discovery Enterprise, so people are gonna have fun with that one. We see the Discovery Enterprise, not the TOS Enterprise. And then he sees the Enterprise D hanging above, which I thought was cool. We just little things they throw in there. Why I didn't show another ship? I don't know. This is another thing that's always made me feel weird about.
Maybe it's subjective. The hologram is subjective.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Anyway, this is another
Picard
thing
was just recently watching watching Discovery.
Yeah. A thing that I've always found weird about Star Trek is the fact that like it appears that the Enterprise is the only one that gets to keep its registry number through multiple iterations.
Oh, is that a thing?
I have never seen another I've never seen an Excelsior NCC 2000A.
We don't know that.
Or B. That's a completely different class of ship.
Maybe there is.
The only thing that we kind of see is the Defiant, because the original Defiant gets destroyed, and I mean the Defiant in Deep Space Nine. Not the
does it get a new number?
No, and it doesn't get a -A because what they did is like they just brought it back a few episodes later, and it was literally like they took another Defiant class ship, I forget the name of it, and they just renamed it, and like it had a slightly different bridge, but like if you look at it from the outside, it actually was like. I think the other ship or something like that. It didn't say USS Defiant on it because they didn't redo the CG model. It was a reverse or something like that. It was weird.
That makes me sad.
So the only ship that I know of that we've ever seen that gets like a replacement is the Defiant. But because it was the exact same class, it didn't get a whatever NCC dash. I hate when they went to the 5 digits because nobody remembers them.
But the
NCC dash whatever
A and the original were both Constitutions. They didn't wear a new class.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The A and the refit are the same class.
Yeah. I know stuff.
Yeah. So you see my point. Why does why is it only the Enterprise? Why do we not have an NCC 2000-A that's like a whatchamacallit? What was the Enterprise C? Andromeda? Andromeda? It's not Andromeda.
#, legacy tag.
Fuck, I forget what the Enterprise
So we should start. We'll start # legacy
anyway,
tag.
I want to see like I would much rather just have a whole bunch of like Excelsior-A and Franklin-C and whatever than now we're up to like NCC-9532143 that nobody can remember.
I would say that that's also my biggest problem with the newer Star Treks is that it makes my Excel spreadsheets harder.
Fuck off. This is not a thing that annoys me. It's just a thing that I don't understand. And I will say, like I said, what does annoy me is when they went to 5 digits because everybody knows NCC 1701. I know NCC 1864, which was with the Reliant. I know NCC 2000, which was the Excelsior. I know NCC 1031, which is Discovery. Right? I don't think I could tell you what the registry number of the Voyager was, and I watched that fucking show for 7 seasons because it's 5 digits, and I don't remember it. It's like 74656, I think maybe. Don't know what the fuck the registry number for Defiant is. Don't go to 5 digits. It's stupid. You should have just gone with A and B.
I don't know. 5's prime. Low 4's a square.
In the Star Trek Picard countdown, they just said fuck it, and it's like this. It's the NCC 90,000. It's just 90000.
Oh,
for the Verity.
Which ship?
Oh, the Verity, the one that Picard's on. So there was like, we know you won't remember it, so we're just gonna give it 90,000.
That's funny.
So, anyway. So he goes, Picard goes, talks to Admiral. We get the second ever F word in Star Trek, as far as I know.
Oh, did he? Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, she drops an F-bomb on him.
I'm so crass.
She drops an F-bomb on him. And he looks taken aback when he hears it.
He's a knight.
To be fair. I don't subject myself to this what a commoner talk.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's I think the first glimpse that we get that like Starfleet is not cool. They're not down with TPP anymore.
Sure. I don't know. Well, I think because we saw her checking up, even though.
Yep.
I don't know. I think maybe the superstructure of the Federation is probably fine, but we're going to find that there are elements within it that are
that
have nefarious ends that are making them behave tyrannical.
Well, speaking of, we know that the Jacques Vache are in Starfleet.
Dope.
So we get the Commandant.
Yeah.
She is Jacques Vache. She's a Vulcan, but obviously she's actually a Romulan. And she has a lieutenant that she keeps around who is also a Vulcan. Mm-hmm. And also we find out Narek is Jacques Vache, whatever the fuck the name is.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's trying to work on Sochi. So it was these people within Starfleet that tried to go after Dodge and sent the Romulan there, and that she fought, and then they doctored the records so that she wouldn't show up on the surveillance footage, and and then they ended up blowing her up, which was not what they wanted to do. Apparently, they want to interrogate her. Mm-hmm. So now they have Narek working on the other one.
That's why you shouldn't spit
by banging her.
Yeah. Well, I called workplace
harassment. That was not blood. That was acid.
I know what it was.
Like a capsule.
I know that. I called in this episode workplace harassment early on, and I was proven to be right. This is gross.
Yes. # me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Totally inappropriate to sleep with a subordinate, and then demand that she keep a secret.
Yeah. Can you keep a secret?
Yeah. Totally not cool, guys.
Because he kissed her on the head when she said
yes.
But if she had said no. Yeah. I guess he would have strangled her.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now he would have just the ruse is up now. I'm going to take you to go be interrogated.
It's the end of her Hollywood career, I imagine.
By the Jacques Vache. Yeah. So anyway. Oh, and then from that we also get Soji's trying to bring Borg back. So again, I think she's going to try to.
She seems nice.
Seems nice.
Yeah.
I don't know why he gave her that weird look when she leaned over that Borg and spoke in what I assume was Romulan.
Oh, because he's falling in love with her.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna betray his sister.
Oh, I assume that's gonna happen, but I didn't get that from that scene.
He's touched by her compassion, and yet
he was definitely touched by her.
And using Romulan, blah blah blah. I don't know. It's just, he's hacking her, but maybe we'll find out that she's super smart android, and she's hacking him back.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Also, weird interaction with him and his sister.
Yeah, I guess we don't know if it's weird. It's Romulan.
I feel like inbreeding is still not a big thing in Romulus.
Are they inbreeding?
Well, I mean, that's what I meant by weird. That looked more intimate than I would expect for a brother and sister.
No, it just looks like they're weird. They're in a religious cult.
I wouldn't really call it religious.
I would. Did you hear that?
Who's their deity?
They have a devil. They don't have a deity, and it's AI. Yeah, it's like it's real.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's this the way she talked about it.
That's more of a target. I don't know. That's like saying the Nazis were a religious cult because of the Jews. No,
I would say the Nazis were a religious cult because their belt buckle said God on our side.
Fair play. But the Romulans aren't doing that.
Sure, and
they're not saying anti-synthetic on our side.
And that the Pope called for the prayers for Adolf Hitler, I believe, on his birthday. So that's one reason I would call it a religious cult.
Well, and then Pope Francis was a former Hitler Youth.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
That was part of the blowback.
That's fine.
And that on top of the whole raping kids thing.
Watch the new Pope Sundays.
Mondays, actually.
Mondays. Oh,
I haven't watched the new season yet.
It's all right. I have only seen a couple episodes. It's fine.
Well, there's only been a couple episodes in the season.
Then I've seen every bit of it, and it's fine.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
So what's next on Star Trek? What happened next?
Oh, that's it.
Oh, good. We're done.
That was the end of
it. It was fine. It was good. I really loved this episode. I loved this episode.
You went from it was fine to it was good to I really love this episode.
I did. Well, we already talked about all the stuff I love. Just like, oh, whatever we're talking about now, I don't care. But
sure.
But then I did. I so much of this was great. I loved the robot, the synthetic murdering everybody scene. I loved the investigation scene.
Sure.
I liked
with the genetic rearrangement.
I liked the way. I liked the fight with the Admiral. I liked the walk away. The clandestine Romulan death squads are active on Earth. Comment to the captain of Verity or whatever, the lady he met. I can't remember her name.
Oh, Ralphie?
Yeah, Ralphie. Yeah, when he convinced her to talk to him with that. That was funny.
She wasn't the captain of the Verity.
Oh, what was she again?
She was first officer.
Right. So, anywho.
I don't know if we ever saw the captain of the Verity in the comic.
Anywho, I loved it. That's what I got for it. Oh, nothing but love.
Yes. I do want to give a shout out to, we got a comment on our last video from Stress 3K.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Welcome back, Stress 3K. He mentioned some things about, so he says he thinks Starfleet or even Section 31 is behind synthetics killing people off on Mars. And that would go to like, oh, they were programmed by somebody within
Control.
Starfleet. Oh,
we're going to do a control thing.
Christ.
I mean, I'm just now realized, yeah, obviously.
I really hope we don't.
We're doing a control thing. That's what's happening right now. Which, the Romulans are right. They are gross.
Yeah. Anyway, so I like that theory. I hope it's something like, I don't know that I necessarily want it to be Section 31. It seems like it's going to be more like these, whatever they're called, the Jacques Vache or whatever, inside Starfleet. But I do hope that's what happens. Yeah, he doesn't want to see Maddox. He says best if they were killed by the Romulans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of like see Maddox. So I kind of disagree with that one. Yeah. So he's a big fan. He's a big fan of it all, of the first episode.
Well, he's a man of good taste.
Yeah, I am too.
We both said a lot of things that you're going to regret.
Do what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Anyway, so yeah, so you too can leave a comment, and we will read it on the following episode next week because we will be here.
Like and subscribe.
Do all that stuff.
Dislike and subscribe. Subscribe in all cases is what I'm saying to you.
Fair play.